What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. James here from ShockerRacing Garage. And unless you are new to the channel, you know that I have been raving about the APB big brake kit that we already installed on the Wrangler 392 a few weeks back. You already know I can't say enough good things about how it increased the stopping power. Well, today what I'm going to be showing off are the rear brakes from APB. So we finally were able to complete the big brake kit so that we've got the the good brakes at all four corners doing the stopping. I could tell with just the fronts that they were doing most of the stopping. We are excited to be able to test now and see the difference with all four, basically having the same stopping power or equal stopping power at all four corners. So I am back out here at my official, super technical test track here back on my private property. And I'm going to do a little test. Basically, I already installed these brakes a few weeks back. I've been able to get some, break-in period on them and make sure that they're properly bedded and seated and everything before we do this test. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to test out the brakes, see if it made any difference from just having the fronts done, and then I'm going to get it back over to the garage, pull those rear tires off so I can show you, a little bit about. I got a butterfly landing on me. Show you a little bit about the install, because there is one thing that I had to modify on the rear brakes in order to make this kit work. So I want to point that out. So we'll get you back over to the garage. I'll take the wheels off and just show you a couple pointers. I'm not going to show you the full install because you can already kind of refer back to my original install from when we did the front brakes. It's pretty much the same process. I'm going to get these cameras set up and hopefully we can get some decent footage showing off the braking power with the APB brakes on the Wrangler 392. So stay tuned. So I got a couple good pulls in at my super scientific private test track. Instantly can feel the stopping power is much better in that everything is grabbing at the same time, with equal force. Whereas before I could really feel like that the front end or the front tires were really grabbing harder and doing all the work. So I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head as far as what the distance was from with just the front brakes for stopping versus now. So I'm going to get home, and when I start editing this all together, I'll put the numbers all together for you so we can see how much difference it makes. But right now I'm heading back to the garage, and I'm going to pull one of those tires off so that I can show you how everything looks and show you what I had to modify in order to make this setup work. So stay tuned. All right, so I got the tire off. You can see I've got the rear APB brakes here in this beautiful red caliper with the slotted rotors. Again, this was a super easy install. I'm not gonna show you guys everything. You basically just swap out the rotors, swap out the calipers, and just add the caliper bracket so that it kind of extends it out a little further, just like on the first video. So all pretty easy. The only thing that was an issue was the dust shield backing plate on the back of the rotor here. So let me show you that so you can kind of have an idea what I'm talking about here. So on the back side of the brake rotor, you'll notice that there's this dust shield. Well, this dust shield actually came down further past where the caliper is currently sitting, and it was basically stopping me from being able to bolt up the bolts to the mounting bracket back here. So what we did was we just had to cut this shield back, and I'll show you because I did get a little footage when we were cutting that off. So we basically had to make two cuts, one at the top and one at the bottom of this dust shield, in order to create space so that we can bolt up the caliper to the mounting bracket. Let me see if I shine the light in. You can see we made just like a 1/8 inch gap there between the caliper and the shield, just so that it was not touching and that we were able to bolt up the caliper. Now, I almost forgot to discuss what everybody wants to know. How much of a difference did it make? Well, if you remember from my previous video, with just the front brakes on, it was about a 9 to 10 foot difference in the stopping from stock to the APB brakes in just that short amount of distance there in the storage facility. So what we gained with the rear brakes was another couple of feet. I'd say about 3 feet shorter distance than with just the fronts alone. So basically adding the fronts and the rears took off about 13 feet of stopping distance on average in my unscientific test over the stock brakes. And again, that was just in that short amount of distance where I was accelerating and then locking up the brakes. Now, the other big thing is the overall drivability and pedal feel on the road has been amazing. You can tell you've got some solid brakes, you know, under your pedal or under the foot there, ready to stop when necessary. Now imagine you're on the highway doing 70, 75 miles an hour and need to lock these brakes up in an emergency at 70, 75 miles an hour. It's gonna translate to a lot better stopping distance and probably the difference between becoming part of an accident and not. So these things are definitely worth the investment to improve your stopping distance, especially when you start adding a lot more weight, 37-inch tires, the big heavy duty tire carrier, winches, steel bumpers, things like that. You're adding a lot more weight to your vehicle, and having a little bit more stopping power, you know, under your foot is always going to be a good thing. So that's it, super easy install. I do want to mention, if you're thinking about picking up a set of these brakes for your 392 Wrangler or your JL or JT in general, and you want to run them on the 17-inch wheels, stock set or an aftermarket 17, make sure you do reach out to APB Brakes to confirm the application, because as you probably noticed, I am running a wheel spacer, and that spacer was mainly to be able to fit these brakes behind the 392 Wrangler wheels. So make sure you reach out to APB with any questions. I know they've got some brake templates that you can download on their website just to make sure, you know, check your fitment and stuff like that, but make sure you reach out to them. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm always glad to try to answer questions as quick as possible. If you have not already, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next video.